it been starting a new job?
It's been a bit complicated, to be honest. Luckily, I got the job before the lockdown happened, so I signed my contract and all that before the lockdown. So I was a bit lucky because now you consider that obviously they stopped employing anyone. So I literally just went to the office on my first day to grab my laptop and then just went home. So I didn't have a chance to like get proper training or like spend like bit more time with my boss as well. So it's been a bit of a challenge, especially because I'm currently working on a marketing campaign for which the process has been started before I arrived in the company. So I basically have to hit the ground running. It's challenging. It's challenging, but my boss is great, and she really tries to make sure that we have like catch ups every day and to kind of keep this kind of link and even try to bond, from a human point of view and make sure that, we can wait and talk about other stuff than just work. So we're doing our best, I guess. So yeah.
That's good. I think the management and your team in general makes a huge difference to any work experience. And I can't even imagine for you employed people working from home, like all this kind of stuff, like to have a schedule and a discipline and like meet targets and stuff like on demand. Like that's great that you're doing that. And with a new company, that's good. And how are things with Cow Talk?
For now, it's sleeping for a bit. I think following the exhibition, obviously, I just wanted to take a step back and think about what I wanted to do with it. It's funny because during the exhibition, obviously, a lot of people got interested in it and were like, oh, we should partner and do this and do this. As soon as the exhibition, is over, let's catch up. And now you're just like, ooh, I mean, we can catch up, but we know we can't do anything really. So so it's a bit complicated in that sense. But I mean, I think everyone is quite transparent and aware of the fact that it's out of our control really. So we can't do anything. We can't. I mean, you can obviously virtually. You have a lot of tools that you can use to do things, but it's not personally something like a route that I want to go down. It's not a way that I want to take the project to. So I think I'll just have to wait for the Cold Talk to kind of for the lockdown to basically get over it and then we'll start to think about something else. But I think the lockdown is also a great opportunity to think about other projects. Like I'm currently trying to work on a podcast as well. So for me, it's the perfect timing. Like obviously you just have to find like the right tools and start the interviews, remotely really. So it's an issue for one project, but it's also an opportunity to work on some others.
Definitely. I mean, I didn't even realize I didn't introduce like who you are or who the Culture Talk project is. I'm assuming we're going to put like a bio with our post, but I visited the Cow Talk exhibition just before, literally like the week of, I think, before everything got shut down. And it was amazing. It was so beautiful to see a room full of just representation for girls who usually aren't represented in like a mainstream way, and to see beauty and stories behind that. And so it's really exciting, and I haven't got around to finishing the article yet, only because it has been something that I think I really want to do justice to it. Like when I'm in my creative flow, I'm very conscious of the power your words have, and that once you've said it, you can't take it back, or once it's published, you can't take it back. And I want to do it justice. And I wanted you to maybe talk a bit about how you drew in themes of identity and feminism into the pictures of like the exhibition that you had. Like it's more than just pretty pictures of girls, and I'd like you to maybe speak on that because we had a really good conversation at the exhibition. So
I mean, I think the most important for me was to make sure that every single like type of beauty could be represented, even though it's obviously quite complicated to represent everyone. This is something that I it's not something that I realized after the exhibition, but a lot of people came to me like, oh, you didn't represent this type of woman or this type of woman. And I'm just like, yeah, it's true, actually. Like, you know, someone, for example, told me, oh, it would be great to see a light-skinned Scottish/Irish curly woman. I'm just like, well, that's very specific. Like, I'm and I'm and I'm happy to do so.
Thinking, like,
So
you had a girl there who was like ginger, like she was mixed race, ginger with freckles,
amazing.
and super, super, super curly hair. So I was like, whoa, you've like covered all the boxes. And you had thin girls, thick girls, plus girls, like, wow, okay.
I guess for some people it's never enough, and I can understand, like, you have so many profiles and skin tones and curl types and body shapes and conditions as well. I understand that for some people it's difficult for them to see themselves represented. Like, it's interesting, like a little girl came to me and she said, oh, there is no children in your projects, and I was like, that's true. You know, like, it's
okay.
And then I had a clear explanation for that. Obviously, the dad was here, and I told him, like, in terms of authorization, it's obviously very complicated. Parents can say yes today, and then the thing is online, and they're like, "Whoa, what are you doing with my daughter's picture?" Whatever. So it's for children, it's a bit more complicated. But I also had like elderly women who told me, "Well, I'm 75 and I can't see myself in here," and I'm just like, "Yeah, you're right." So I think you just have to acknowledge this and not take it in a defensive way, as long as people are not defensive with you, obviously. But I think for so many things there are so many reasons. Like, obviously, for the way that I target these women, like, mainly it's by Instagram, so I have less chance, I guess, to like target women who are like 75 to 80 years old on this. But it's definitely not something I'm close to. It's just I'm using certain ways to target people, and yeah, that's just the way it is. But obviously I'm super open to have like any type of women involved in that. But as you said, it's more than just pretty pictures. It's also making sure that every woman's experience can be kind of shown and highlighted in the best way.
I love your attitude towards kind of receiving that criticism in a way, or that kind of voice that's like, oh, but I don't see myself in this. But whereas, and I get that you can't please all the people all the time, you can't include everyone in everything. But I think it's nice for us as Black women, as curly-haired women, as the non-typical type of this is the beauty standard, to like see yourself. And I'm very aware that I have a lot of privilege in my own kind of identity, but I've still faced a lot of prejudice. And so, yeah, it's things like ageism is a huge thing that other people can work on. Maybe your project will inspire someone else to say, oh, well, I can do my project on women with grey hair or something, like, you know, like those kind of, you never know what you're inspiring, essentially. But yeah, sorry, I completely cut you off. Go ahead. You're going to speak more on like identity and feminism and through the project, those themes through the project.
Yeah. I think I mean, it's almost like it's linked to the project anyway. Like, I can try to push it and to make it more prominent in a more like obvious manner. But I feel like it's so, like, one can't go without the other, if that makes sense. Like, I don't even feel like I have to.
Yeah, like it's really linked with it.
Exactly.
Like, it's part of it. Yeah.
And obviously you have some women who'll have more, like, you know, will share a story that it's more like I don't know, that has like a bigger political angle to it, probably because they will see their hair as very strongly political, or some won't even see that like that. They will just say, oh, it's just my hair. So in a very natural manner, the political angle, the feminist angle will be highlighted, and not because I try to point that out, but just because women have stories, women have to face discrimination on a day-to-day basis, curly-haired women even more, if you're an ethnic minority even more. So you always have these little links. that says so much, really, without me having to push it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm.
And how have you been like caring for your hair during quarantine? I see you've got a protective style.
Yeah.
How's it been?
I've been really bad. I've been really lazy recently. So for the first couple of weeks, I basically had cornrows. I'll literally undo them, wash my hair, do them again, and I like it was like this for weeks. And then I tried to have my curls out, and then I was just like, oh my god, I'm really lazy. Like I can't be bothered even to put my satin scarf on my head before going to bed. So I just decided to just braid it again. And I tried to do these knotless braids, which I actually don't really like. Like I feel like my hair become frizzy very quickly. So I might change my hair in a week's time again.
Yeah, fair enough. I've been like, this has made me realize how lazy I'd gotten with my hair, because I used to be really regimented and like hot oil treatment and deep condition like every 2 weeks, and like I realized I've just been in like survival mode for just so long with my hair, just trying to make it look presentable and just dash out. And so within the last week, I've really been paying attention, mixing more oils that are like, okay, what does my hair need, or what is it lacking? And
it's tough, huh? It's tough. Even drinking enough water, it's just like a hassle.
Yeah, like honestly, I was thinking, no wonder I used to wake up with pounding headaches sometimes, and it's because I was just dehydrated. Like I wasn't drinking enough water, and I can pay attention to all those little things now that I'm in one place and I'm not going from one side of London to the next like every day. So yeah, it's for me personally, I'm not obviously happy about the lives that are being lost and the dangers of coronavirus, but it's been a blessing to like highlight elements of my self-care that I'm failing in and that I need to maybe do better in order to keep myself not just going, but living and a whole. Have you felt anything similar? Has like coming into a new phase of this job and everything else, like have you felt a new kind of self-care package coming through, or routine or anything like that?
Yeah, I think the lockdown just pushed me to kind of, because I always try to have a routine. Like in the morning, I try to do like a bit of exercise or stretching. I try to juice a lot in the morning, like all these kind of things that I try to do on a day-to-day basis, even when I was actually going out and going to, an office and stuff like that. But I think with the lockdown, it just brought me more consistency. Like I remember like when I was working in an office and waking up in the morning, I would just like juice maybe like 2 to 3 times a week, simply because I was too lazy to put everything in the juicer and then clean the juicer. And now I'm just like, okay, well, I have the time actually. I have the time to wake up and use my commuting time to like read a couple of like page of the books. I have time to do my exercises. Then I have time to do my juicing. Then I have time to, I don't know, do some exercises. And then obviously I have time to like do my routines of like shower and everything before going to work. So I think it's just about bringing more consistency to my day-to-day life. And I'm not saying it's easy. Like I haven't done exercises for like 2 days because I couldn't sleep properly and stuff. But I think it's just, I really see this as an opportunity for us to do things in a better way. And it doesn't mean that if you don't succeed to do that, it's a bad thing or you're a failure or anything like that. It's not like that. But I think if we have the chance to do it and we have the ability to do it, whether it's physically or mentally, I think we should just take it, really.
I've been thinking about it a lot through this whole period, and how it's actually a privilege to have the time and the space to do the things that you were saying, the little habits that we have the ability to, and that a lot of people, they might live in places where they can't juice or they can't exercise in their own rooms or in their own apartments or whatever. And just the little that you can, enjoying that for you and making the most of that is so important, and it builds the disciplines and the greater, allows you to achieve the greater goals and dreams that you want to, because you've put these little things into place and you're practicing it. And yeah, I feel you with the exercise front, because I've been doing yoga almost daily until like this week when it just stopped altogether. So yeah, I need to restart that, but it's been good, like, to do that again and be like, oh yeah, like, I really love doing this and I have the space to do it, so I should, you know.
It's a luxury. Like, some people don't even have a house, you know.
Right.
Some people are just homeless. So I think I understand why people complain about staying home that much. But and obviously I'm taking into account that, you know, some people might be in very difficult situations at home actually, but some people just don't have a roof over their head. So for me, it's I can complain from time to time, like, oh, I'm sorry to stay home, da, 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 but I don't think it really annoys me when people get into these like big rants, and I'm just like, listen, some people don't have this luxury, you know. So yeah, I think everyone is taking it as they want, but yeah, it's just a bit of a balance to find, I guess.
Yeah, that balance is crucial. And I think a lot of people, as you said, they're not happy that they're indoors. But you have to think, why? Why are you not happy? I saw someone post on Instagram, only boring people are bored. And I was like, oh, okay, that was an attack, like, at first. But then I was like, you know, you're right. I've not been that bored. I've been doing something new that I've forgotten about every day. I like picked up my ukulele the other day and I was like, oh yeah, I really enjoy playing this. Why did I stop? And cleaning as well. I found that I was always just squeezing it in where I could, whereas I've been able to dedicate time to properly organizing and cleaning things out that previously it was just like, oh yeah, half an hour on a Saturday, yeah, I can do that quickly, boom, 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 and then go. It's really good to make the most of the space you have and the time you have, and knowing that we have time. I think especially as Londoners, that is not a feeling that you're used to. You're not used to feeling like, oh, I have time, or I can rest. I'm allowed to rest right now because I have time. It's such an uncomfortable feeling, and I don't know if maybe you can relate to that, or but yeah, it's been something that I've consciously said to myself, no, I'm going to take my time and focus on certain goals and certain aspects of my life, because now I have the time to do it. I like explicitly have the time to do it because literally the whole world is at a standstill. So it's been a nice feeling to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. And yeah, any other like self-care tips or anything that you might say, like, are the 3 major things that you've learned during this time, and you would say suggest it to someone, or fully put you on the spot. I did not prepare you.
Okay.
Anything. Yeah, let's just have a catch up. And now I'm like, tell us everything you learned.
I'll find something. Let me think. It's These are not things that I've learned. Like, and I've never taken these things for granted anyway. But time is so precious. Like, and again, I've always known that, and especially when you work on a project like, you know, the Curl Talk, for example, you know that you need to spend a couple of hours on this every weekend. You need to use this time to meet other people. You need to use this time to meet new women. I always knew that time needs to be, you know, spent very wisely. But it's also about reflecting on who you give your time to. Again, this is something I've always known, but I think now I have time to reflect on it and think, okay, actually, the time I gave to this person or that person was literally such a waste of time, and I could have done so much more without giving my attention and my time and my energy to this or this or this type of person. So I think it's just a way to kind of remind ourselves that we need to be very careful with how we manage time, who we spend that with, and who we, but also question who we don't give enough time to, if that makes sense. Like with my flatmate, we have a great relationship. We've been living together for like 5 years, and we've like we're super friends and stuff. But it's true that recently we took some time to have like dinner together, like proper dinner. And I was like, actually, we haven't done that for ages. And this kind of lockdown made us kind of have this thought about, oh, maybe we should do that, like have proper dinner, sit at the table instead of the sofa in front of the TV, like have proper wine, discussing for hours without radio, music, or TV disrupting us, like, these kind of things. So it's not, these are not things that I've learned, but I think these are things that you kind of accept a bit more, simply because we now have the time to do so, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really interesting that you said you've never taken your time for granted, whereas I've realized I have, and maybe that's why I haven't achieved something as major as the Cultural Project exhibition, because I realized I've been doing a lot, but it's been such scattered energy. It's not been focused, and this period has made me like really take an inventory and be like, okay, it's great that I'm so active. It's great that I have so much energy and vim, and I love people, but I need to be more intentional with my time. And it's allowed me to do more in 3 weeks than I've done in like the past year, really, like in terms of focusing and building towards serious goals. And I think it's so crucial right now to really like make the most of this time to do those kind of things.
But you're making your points now, which is great.
Yeah, it really is, and so much has come through that already, and like I've got orders and stuff. I'm still trying to work on a logo and packaging, which is why I've not like put it out there yet.
That's really cool.
But still, like, it's more than I've done on it in like the last 6 months for sure. And so many ideas flow to me. I like do a bit on it, and then I'm like, okay, let me just lay a rest, and I'll do something else, and I'll get ideas naturally. Whereas before, I felt like I was forcing it, and then I was getting frustrated with myself because I wasn't making progress, and it was just a constant wearing down of becoming a burden. Whereas now, it's good, and I've also got like my legal aspirations. I don't think I told you I'm going to be starting the bar course in January, so I'm hoping to become a barrister. So I have like scholarship interviews coming up, and trying to put together like myself so that I can express myself clearly and confidently. So that's what I've been working on like every single day, is my points about the law and why I love it and what I want to do. Kind of thing.
Well, good luck. That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
You'll basically have the job that my mom dreamt I would be doing. But yeah, that's I guess the thing with every single Black parents, like, oh, you should be a lawyer. I'm just like, okay. Cool.
Well, my grandpa dreamed that my mum would be, and many of like her siblings would be lawyers, and it's like I've taken up that baton of being the lawyer instead. Not by force. My parents were very like, yeah, do what you want. We love you anyway. And I was like, oh, this is nice. So it's cool to see my dreams coming true, but I have to still put in the work for those dreams.
But you will. Yeah. If it's a passion, you'll definitely do this. Like I mean, maybe I'm a bit extreme, but I always have this idea that if you really want something, you will do everything to get there. And some people sometimes will tell you, no, but I really want it, but I'm so lazy. I'm just like, oh, maybe you don't really want it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bit.
No, but it's true. It's the truth. Like, I realized that I was procrastinating things and putting things off that I didn't really want, and that's why I was procrastinating it, or that's why I felt reluctant to do it, is because even if I did want it, ultimately it's not, I didn't want it in that way. You know, like with the oil thing, I felt very pressured by people to, you know, start a company or do a business and send off this and start sending out oils. And I was just like, I'm not ready for all of that yet. It doesn't look how I want it to. It doesn't smell how I want it to. It doesn't feel quite right yet. And now I'm in that time and I'm doing it because I want to, you know?
But I think also people will always kind of, I mean, some friends and family will give you like super constructive feedback and stuff. But also, some people will always tend to kind of push their own frustration on you. Like, oh, that's enough. You can just launch it the way it is. And just like, no, like I know exactly what I want and I know exactly how it needs to look like as you said. And sometimes people will make you feel that you're doing too much or you pretend to, I don't know, look like a better hard worker than what you are. I don't know, it's a weird thing, but I've never understood how people would just push it.
Yeah.
Even though they don't know anything about the work that you're actually doing and the reason why you're doing this. I mean, for the Curl Talk, it was like this as well. Like even from friends sometimes, I was just like, oh my God, like leave me alone. Like I know what I'm doing. And so if it doesn't feel right yet, it's simply because it probably is. And if you feel like you need to wait a bit or work on it a bit more, it's simply because you should. And yeah, never listen to other people because otherwise you won't do anything.
For sure. And just like you said, you knew that you weren't ready yet. You knew what you wanted. I think I've not known for a while. I've just been like floating around and trying to live to others' expectations. Because as you said, it's family and friends who are advising me. So they love me. They want the best for me. And that I was always seeing it as that. But actually, I can only live for myself. I can only make my own individual choices.
Yeah.
And I will please them in turn. Like, as a people pleaser, I love to please people, especially the people that I love. But it's like, by doing me, I will please them. And that's what I'm really like doing now, reclaiming my time, not spending as much time on the phone every day to this one or that one just to show that I love you and I'm checking in on you. You know I love you, but I'm focusing on this right now. And same with the oil thing, that your expectation might be that I would have launched it already. Like, come on, like why isn't it launched? But I'm living to my own expectations now, and that's been so like liberating in itself and self-fulfilling. So it's really nice, but it is a practice for sure. And I think what you said about all the little things building up to that, it really is crucial to like build up, like, so basically like asking myself every day, what do I want to do? Do I want to exercise? Yeah, I do. I want to exercise. I want to do this. I want to do that. And those acknowledging those smaller ones helps me to identify my bigger desires. So yeah, I didn't realize it was going to get that deep, but we did. That's nice. So yeah. Anything else that you wanted to bring up or talk about to the Dropout family? Any projects we should look out for, or ideas, or is there a way to see the Cow Talk pictures or the exhibition without, like, if you missed the exhibition in person?
Yes. So for the pictures, you can go either on the Instagram page. So all the portraits, obviously in the exhibition, not all the portraits were displayed. So in total, I had interviewed about like 120 women. So I didn't have the space to exhibit all of them. So if you want to see like most of them, you can basically go either on Instagram or so at the Curl Talk Project or on the website, so thecurltalkproject.com. In terms of projects to look out for, well, I think I'm becoming very serious about this podcast idea.
French or English?
Sorry?
In French or in English?
Yeah, in English. It's a bit of a challenge for me because I'm just like, maybe people would just be annoyed to listen to me with my French accent all the way through. But, let's see.
No, it would be great.
Yeah, we'll see, but yeah, I'm super serious about it, and I was thinking I'll see how I can organize all these recordings remotely and stuff, but I'm sure there is a way to do this, still having like like a qualitative audio sound. So if everything goes well, I would like to launch it around like September to October. Uh, it's not about hair at all. It's not linked to the Culture project at all. But it's more about exploring the stories of women of color who have side hustles, and basically try to understand how their cultural heritage have shaped these side hustles, basically. So yeah, hopefully September to October launch. And then you asked something else. I can't remember. Oh yeah, one last word.
It doesn't have to be a last word, but
Yeah.
you reminded me that you recommended that I watch it. She did that on
Oh
Netflix.
yes,
It
yes,
was
yes.
really good. I watched that, and the Man DJ Walker
Mm,
one as well. I don't know if you've seen that, but
yeah,
that's really good.
I didn't
You
like.
didn't like it?
Mm,
No.
mm.
Why?
I,
What
was,
about it?
I have so many reasons. Like I was actually really like angry in the end. I was like, this is it. Like I'm really annoyed.
I said inspired by Madam C.J. Walker, so it wasn't like exactly about her life. So go, tell us.
I know, but still, I mean, to me, when you want to talk about and as well, like, okay, I'll start from the start. So first thing first, I think, okay, that's great that we can have like a series about this woman, which was completely like incredible. But I also think that when you want to cover her life, even though it's inspired by, I really believe that you have a very strong historical duty. Like for me, you first of all, you can't just cover this woman's life in like 4 episodes. I was super
Yeah,
disappointed. I was like 4 episodes. Like they were literally jumping from one
yeah,
element of her life to the other. It's like she became a millionaire in a blink of an eye, especially because
yeah.
she struggled so much. And I was just like,
All struggle. They left out all of the struggle, and I was
I
just
know.
like, okay,
And I was just
like
like, I mean, I'm
her
not saying that I want to see
life.
her struggle, but it was part of her life and it really shaped her entrepreneurial journey. So I was just
Yeah,
like, this is missing. So this is annoying me. This is the first thing.
yeah,
Um, therefore, episode to me is too short as well. The fact that yes, some to me some very important historical elements weren't in there. Again, I know it's inspired, but for example, in the story, they show that she basically wanted to become a sales agent to Malone, and that Malone said no.
mm,
But in real life, she actually became a sales agent for Malone. So I was like, I really felt like they used this wrong, because it wasn't correct. Obviously, this they just used the real part of the story, changed
yeah,
it so they could basically create some type of cat fight.
yeah,
These
yeah,
two black women
yeah,
again,
yeah.
and one obviously being much lighter than the other. So all of this tainted by colorism, and I felt like, okay, from all the books that I read on the topic, I'm not even sure that this have been documented anywhere. And the
Mm,
fact that they just try to add it in for pure entertainment purposes really annoyed me.
yeah,
Really
and it
annoyed.
was like a pivotal part of the entire series. Is this kind of feud? It wasn't like a side thing. It was.
Exactly. And I was like, if it was real, that's not a problem. And if you want to talk about colorism, please do. That's a real problem, especially in the black community. But if it wasn't real and it just needs some entertainment and keep the people interested, why would you use this angle? To me, it's so problematic. Um,
Yeah.
I know everyone loved it, and I was just like, nope, I just didn't know. I'm not happy.
No, I get that. I think I just loved being a black female entrepreneur. That
Yeah.
was really as a protagonist. Um, I loved seeing, even though her marriage didn't work out, I loved seeing the dynamic between her and her husband. I liked her daughter's storyline, even though I wouldn't have cast. I
Yeah.
can't remember her name. I would have cast her for the role.
That was
Not
terrible.
that she's a bad actress, but like for that role, no. Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, oh yay! Like it's very easy to please me, I guess, in some senses. And it's about black hair, so it was cool to see that aspect.
I'm just really being very annoying with this stuff.
No, they could have done a lot more, and they could have really brought it out and expanded on it. And maybe they will in the future. I don't know. Maybe someone else will pick it up and be like, well, actually, this is what happened. But yeah, so now I enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah. No, you have I think you have Black as Fuck that's starting tonight on Netflix.
Oh yeah, isn't that like a bumper Blackish or like mixedish, like similar?
Yeah, it's the guy who actually it's about the family of the guy who created Blackish, if I understood well. So I don't know. I'll see. I'm not even sure if it's a movie, if it's a series, but I said I would just give it a try.
Yeah, I will give it a try, but a lot of people are like, are you just fulfilling stereotypes and like not really getting to anything that deep? But then sometimes I'm like, stop looking at it so deeply and just enjoy the series for the series. So I will just try. I'll try and watch it. Because I felt like that was Dear White People. I was like, this is getting kind of pointless.
Yeah.
So I think series I didn't like it.
With that as well.
Yeah. I don't know.
I had expectations with this, but I was so disappointed. I was like,
yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll try it. You know. It's difficult because we always say, oh, we want representation, but then like you get it and you're like, what are you representing right now? Like, what are you trying to say? It's quite complicated being black as a consumer.
It's true, but then that's also why you need to have like, you know, people from the community like behind the scenes as well, because then anyone without a diverse team would say to us, well, you wanted representation, here you go, what do you want from me now? And you're just like, well, that's not it. So I was watching this what's it called, Unorthodox on Netflix. I don't know if you heard of it.
No.
It's about this very observant Jewish community in the US. I can't remember how they're called. Very observant, like super orthodox. And basically, one of the girls wants to leave the community and be free from it because it's super restrictive. I mean, it's pretty tough for her. And the series is great. It's like I think 4 episodes or something. And at the end they have this kind of behind the scenes episode, and most of the team is Jewish, and some people from the team are actually from this community or expert about this community. And I was like, you know what, this makes a massive difference, because when you watch the series, I mean, I'm not from this community, but I wouldn't see like any kind of very vulgar cliche or stereotype. And then you look at the team and you think, oh, well, that's actually why, you know, because people who are actually behind the scene are from this community. So they're able to speak for their people. And so it's actually quite interesting. So I think people should just understand that if you don't have like a team that can be representative of your target audience or anything, it won't work.
Yeah, representation needs to go beyond the casting. It needs to be in the writer's room, in the production, in every aspect. You need to have diversity that be reflective, for sure. But I will definitely check that out. One of the docs. Cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool. Well, any last words now? I know we've been wrapping up for like 20 minutes, but
no,
yeah.
I think that's okay. If you give me the opportunity to speak, I will just speak for hours. I think
it's cool. It's cool.
But no, I think I've said everything. Yeah, say to the people that you love them as well.
Yes. Yes. Sure.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying that, but I'm really struggling with that in general. I'm trying to be better at it because obviously I can't hug my friends or I can't hug my mom or anyone. So I'm just trying to be a bit more open with talking feelings during
yeah. Yes, for sure. Be vulnerable. Tell people you love them. It's not a bad thing to be vulnerable always with the right kind of people.
Yeah,
And people
yeah.
that you love and who love you, it's okay to be vulnerable with them. I've been trying to find new ways to show love. So I've like been posting like in my hour, allowed hour of exercise a day. I will sometimes go to the post office and send like a package or a postcard. So I actually sent my curl post postcard to my friend because it had like both our hair types on there, and so it's just like a random little way of showing love in a different way. I think it's cute. Yeah. Okay, great. This
Amazing.
was lovely. Thank you for spending time with us and having this conversation. It's been great. And yeah, I
Cool.
will.
Well, let me know if you need anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we'll see then.
yes, for sure.
Cool. Good luck for all the courses.
Thank you. Thanks.
And the oils and everything. And obviously, let me know when you launch the oils and stuff. I want to know.
Yes, I will for sure. I will. Thank you.
Jen.
Bye.
Bye.